There are 3 common habits that are destroying your confidence.
I didn't feel good about what I had done.
And if you don't fix these habits, you're going to find it impossible to get through to people, particularly when you need it the most.
You always made me aware of what I was doing wrong, how I was falling short. Life with you was joyless.
The first mistake people make is stating judgments that imply people are wrong. These judgments are an evaluation of somebody's character. People hear these judgments as personal attacks and they get defensive. One example of these judgments is insults.
You're a laboratory experiment, Rogers. Everything special about you came out of a bottle.
Or they can be negative labels.
Jesus, Brooke, you're acting crazy again.
Don't you call me crazy. I am not crazy.
I didn't call you crazy.
Just
I didn't
did.
call you crazy. No, I didn't. I said you're acting crazy. All I ask, Brooke, is that you show a little bit of appreciation. That I just get 20 minutes to relax when I come home instead of being attacked with questions and nag the whole damn time.
You think that I nag you?
That's all you do! All you do is nag me!
For example, in the clip that you just saw, this guy wanted space, but he chose to judge and call out the nagging, and because of that, they moved farther away from a solution. I'm talking about specific language to use here because we all have a self-serving bias, which leads us to think that we are right all the time. For example, at work, if you care more about details than a co-worker, you might call them disorganized, but if they care more about details than you call them picky or obsessive. Or if your partner wants more affection than you, we call them needy. But if you want more affection than them, we call them distant.
Have you noticed that their stuff is shit and your shit is stuff?
So instead, replace these judgments with a specific observation. An observation is just stating the facts of a behavior that you did not like. And when you make an observation, make it specific to a time and place.
एक दफा किरण मुझे बोल रही थी कि आप हम लोगों में इंटरेस्टेड ही नहीं हो। मैंने कहा क्या मतलब? तो उन्होंने कहा आप जो हो अपनी दुनिया में खोए रहते हो और अगर आप हमारे साथ भी बैठे हो तो आप अपनी दुनिया में खोए रहते हो, आपको हमारे इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है एक्चुअली। अच्छा, वो कंप्लेन नहीं कर रही थी, वो ऐसे एज एन ऑब्जर्वेशन बोल रही थी।
At this point, these are not specific observations, but watch what happens when he makes it specific.
तो ऐसे क्या मतलब? इससे कि देखो हमारी शादी को 10 साल हो गए, मतलब हफ्ते में 2-3 दफा तो मैं आपसे सुनती हूँ कि यार अम्मी के साथ मुझे वक्त गुजारना है, अम्मी के साथ मुझे अम्मी के साथ वक्त नहीं मिलता है। तो फिर आप मिलते क्यों नहीं हो अम्मी से? 2 माले ऊपर रहती हैं।
So when you're stating these observations, make sure you avoid words like always and never. When people hear always and never, they tend to become defensive.
You always made me aware of what I was doing wrong, how I was falling short. Life with you was joyless.
For example, instead of saying you never listen to me, try saying the last 3 times I tried to talk to you, you didn't want to talk. This brings us to the second mistake people make, using language that denies responsibility for emotions. I believe that we are 100% responsible for our emotions. Yes, other people can trigger emotions in us, but they can never be the cause of our emotions. But the good news is, if you are 100% responsible for your emotions, then you can choose how you interpret them. Emotions are neither good or bad, they just exist. What makes them good or bad is the story we attach to them. When we deny responsibility for our emotions, we attach a story to them that's not true. Here's a fantastic example of Tom Hardy taking responsibility for his emotions with his language in real time.
The words method acting always trigger but make me feel. I feel like responding to that with a...
He switched from makes me feel, which is a phrase that indicates a denial of responsibility, to I feel like, which owns responsibility for his emotions. This is step 1 to taking responsibility. Here's another example. Watch his language as he's talking about his emotions.
So in the middle of COVID, I went through this emotional moment where I felt I've given my whole life to this world of cinema and I've not been there for my family. So at that time, I felt a lot of guilt. I didn't feel good about what I had done.
At this point, you figure out a behavior you don't like and you figure out how you feel about it. Then you make a clear request about what you want. People make the mistake of making a request first without expressing how they feel, and this again doesn't work in changing behavior. Because when you don't express how you feel first, people think you are making a demand. Here's an example of what not to do from Breaking Bad.
Right now, what I need is for you to climb down out of my ass. Can you do that?
So how do you make a clear request? Step 1 is to focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. When we make negative requests like stop nagging me, that doesn't actually tell the other person what to do. Here's what a positive request looks like from Ted Lasso as he's talking to his mom.
I mean, if you got something you need to say to me, I'd appreciate if you just went ahead and said it.
Did you notice that he only talked about what he wants and how he would feel if she agreed to his request without demanding that she agreed? This is the key to making a clear request. The sign of a good request is that it doesn't force the other person to comply. That's a demand. Personally, I like the phrase, would you be open to, before making a request. Let's say you are frustrated when someone interrupts you in conversation.
Words you're targeting.
I understand.
Okay, so that is how I feel.
You could call them out and say, stop interrupting me. Or you could use this process and say something like, when you cut me off when I'm speaking, I feel frustrated. Would you be open to waiting till I'm done talking so I can listen to you? Here's another example of a question you can use when you're trying to understand the other person.
Help me understand what you like about this.
I hope you found this helpful. This entire video was based on nonviolent communication by Marshall Rosenberg. I'll link to it in the description and I highly recommend you check it out. Please subscribe to this channel so I know to make more videos just like this. Thank you so much for watching.